Hello everyone, my name is Nurilan Hashmi and this is a short reflection video on the course Human-Computer Interaction. I am taking the course from Habib University in the 5th semester of my computer science degree. Human-computer interaction is a subfield in computer science that not many people, especially in Pakistan, know about. I personally did not know about it. So if you're someone who's planning to pursue it or take a course on it, maybe this video will help you understand what it's actually about and make a more well-informed decision. So I'll talk about three things in this video. The first is some of the interesting concepts that we learned. The second part is what is good design and how the concepts are applied. And the third part is why these theories matter. So for the first part, I would like to talk about sometimes, when you're using a feature, a button, a website, and it's not working for you or you can't figure something out. Usually, obviously, you get really frustrated, but you also tend to think that, wow, I'm really stupid, why couldn't I figure this out earlier, or it was simple. But it's not the user that's the problem, it's the design. Users have already preconceived notion of how a button or an app or something should work. And this is a mental model. A mental model is how people think a system works based on habits, based on culture, experience, trial and error. So people don't interact with systems based on how the system actually works, but on how they believe the system should work. For example, some people believe that closing background apps makes the phone faster, which is technically wrong, but still a mental model that shapes behaviors. Another thing we learned about is affordances. So this is a key term in HCI that's constantly being used. So affordance is how the object signals what actions are possible. So a record button, for example, should be telling me what I can do with it, which is press start to record the video. Or a pause button, how is the pause button telling me what I can do with it? A button should look clickable. An icon should suggest what it does. A door should clearly say push or pull through its shape, right? So the user doesn't constantly get it wrong. Since learning this, I have subconsciously asked myself, what is this element telling me I can do with it? This also leads me to another concept that we learned about, which was discoverability. This is how easily users can find out what action is possible. This is something that Don Norman also talked about, who was a leading figure in HCI. He also mentioned the concept of Norman doors, which I found really interesting. Norman doors are doors that you constantly keep getting wrong. So any door that you're supposed to pull, but every time you get to it, you always push it and you always get it wrong. That's a Norman door. So for example, a door with a big handle suggests that you should pull it, but you're supposed to push it. That's bad design. Another example of bad design could be a door which is clear, which also has a clear handle, so the handle is not that visible and you would naturally instinctively push it, but you're supposed to pull it. So that's not your fault, that's just bad door design, right? This may also lead us to gulf of execution and gulf of evaluation. These are two error gaps that designers should think about, and they should work to eliminate them. So gulf of execution is when the user wants to do something but they can't figure out how to do it. For example, your car displays, your modern cars have lots and lots of buttons, but you don't know many times, especially if you're a first time user, you wouldn't understand what to do with what button. The second thing is the gulf of evaluation. The gulf of evaluation is when the user performs an action but it can't understand what the system just did. It can't understand the state of the system. So you press a button but you're unaware of what's going on. So if you press maybe submit after you submit an assignment, but Canvas just starts loading and you have no idea what's happening. Another favorite topics that we learned about was need finding, which we also used in our project. Instead of jumping to solutions, you start with the user group and then you observe them, you interview them, you identify their pain points and joy points to come up with the things that are working for them and things that are not. So these were all some of the theories that I found interesting. Secondly, I'll be talking about what good design actually is. Good design isn't just decoration and aesthetics, it's actually clarity and reducing as much mental load from the user as you can. So users don't have to rely on recall, rather they can use recognition to understand what action they have to perform. How designers can do that is to design in such a way that the interface should align with the user's mental model. It should make actions obvious, Users should never be confused on what a button should have to do, or they should never be guessing. They should just know. It should prevent errors. If something is not doable, then obviously that action should be grayed out. It should always give feedback, which means there's no gulf of evaluation. If a system is in loading state or if a user has committed an error, then it should promptly give feedback. It should also start with real needs. So the best designs come from understanding people and not just from making assumptions and then solving those assumed problems. In one line, I would say that good design is invisible. It should blend in the background. It should feel so natural because the designer did all the thinking and the user should have to do none. Lastly, I would like to talk about why these theories and why HCI as a field matters. As the world around us gets increasingly filled with interfaces, and not just the interfaces on our phones and laptops, but also on devices like the fridges and microwaves and ovens, as technology gets more and more complex, HCI helps keep it human. HCI helps keep it a user-friendly experience, a smooth experience. All of the theories we talked about, they aren't just academic concepts, but they shape the digital experience that we have today. If you're someone who's interested in designing better technology and user-friendly interfaces, then maybe HCI is the field for you. That's all from my side. Thank you so much for listening. Bye bye.